ជំរាបសួរស្វាគមន៍មកកាន់ Sparkle Podcast បាទថ្ងៃនេះ Sparkle Podcast របស់យើងបានវិលត្រឡប់មកសាជាថ្មីម្ដងទៀតហើយនៅក្នុងវេទិកា Podcast របស់យើងខ្ញុំនៅក្នុងថ្ងៃនេះនឹងបង្ហាញជូននៅប្រធានបទដ៏ពិសេសមួយទាក់ទងទៅនឹងការរៀបចំក៏ដូចជាការត្រៀមខ្លួនរបស់មាតាបិតាឬអាណាព្យាបាលដែលមានបំណងនឹងបញ្ជូនបុត្រធីតារបស់លោកអ្នកទៅសិក្សាបន្តនៅចក្រភពអង់គ្លេសនៅក្នុងថ្ងៃនេះផងដែរយើងខ្ញុំក៏បានអញ្ជើញវាគ្មិនកិត្តិយសរបស់យើងមួយរូបដែលលោកមានជំនាញនៅក្នុងការប្រឹក្សាយោបល់ក៏ដូចជាការផ្ដល់ជូននៅដំបូន្មាននិងគន្លឹះសំខាន់សម្រាប់អាណាព្យាបាលឬមេដាបិតាដែលកំពុងតែរៀបចំគម្រោងទៅដល់បុត្រធីតារបស់លោកអ្នកដើម្បីបន្តការសិក្សានៅចក្រភពអង់គ្លេសហើយដោយសារតែវាគ្មិនកិត្តិយសរបស់យើងនៅក្នុងថ្ងៃនេះគឺជាជនជាតិបរទេសខ្ញុំបានសូមការអនុញ្ញាតដំណើរការ podcast របស់យើងខ្ញុំជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសបាទសូមអរគុណ So welcome to Sparkle Podcast. Today we are excited to be here again and greeting from Sparkle Podcast. Today's topic is very interesting, especially it's a very great information for parents or guardians who is preparing your children to study in the UK.Especially today, we invited one special speaker who will share us the experience, especially we will demystify the university choices, scores, and certificates with our expert guest, who is a British Council certified UK agent in Cambodia. And he will share here his practical advice and expert insights,which helping to make this journey smoother and more informed to you. Without further ado, let's turn to our speaker. How are you doing today?
Very good.
Good, thank
really
you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining our podcast today.
It's a pleasure
to be here. Okay, good. So first of all, can you kindly briefly introduce yourself and your background?Yeah,
of course. So my name is Curtis Fountain. I'm originally from the UK, but I've been living across Southeast Asia now for the last 14 to 15 years. I specialise in helping students to access an education abroad, specifically in the UK. And my main expertise is in the university field and helping students across Southeast Asia to access a UK university degree.
That's great.From your introduction, it sounds more interesting, and we are looking forward to bring more information from you, especially is the help to those parents who is preparing or planning for their children to study in the UK. So before we are going to our topic today, so what inspired you to pursue your current position and profession?
Okay. Yeah. So actually, my position came about 4 or 5 years ago now. I first came into Cambodia and there was a parent with a son and daughter. He'd gone through an application process to get them into the UK, but nobody really knew how to move the application forward. The parent wanted his kids abroad. The agency wasn't sure what to do with it at high school level. And when I met with the parents, I saw how keen they were to send their kids abroad.I also saw when I met the students just how good their academics were and their English was. I think it's always been that misconception maybe that in Cambodia, maybe the academics or the English level isn't so high. But when I met these two students, I saw actually they can easily access a UK education and was surprised that there wasn't enough support here on the ground to help them facilitate what was needed to move forward with the application.And so I helped the father to process the application for his son and daughter. That then moved us on to a tumbling effect where we were recommended to other parents and families who had the same situation. And it got me thinking that if this group already have this issue, then it must be a bigger issue inside of Cambodia as well. I then went away, did some more research into what's available here, and I saw that actually in terms of what's available knowledge-wise for the UK,not only is it very limited, but it's also, in a sense, the wrong information on the ground. And actually things in the UK have developed a lot in recent years. And this conception that the UK is inaccessible or too expensive is purely just a myth. So I decided to then pull my resources together to see what we could do inside of Cambodia, and that's where we come up with the opportunity to partner with SIUK, a very well-established agency who have offices now in 42 countries. And one of the only countries they weren't operating in was in Cambodia. So we decided to partner with them to open the office here to allow more students the right access and the right knowledge to be able to access a UK education.
Oh, I see. That's great. Because you are working a lot with the parents as well as with the children to coordinate in planning and researching for more information before sending their kids to abroad, especially to UK. So what is the most exciting project you currently worked on?
Okay, so in terms of projects right now, we have many going on in the background. But two that stand out for us is that we found when we were working with the parents and students, the majority of them were going to international schools. But it was actually through the international schools that they found there was a limit of knowledge, maybe from the counsellors or the staff inside of the school, to be able to give them all of the information. And they were kind of just lost with what to do. So one of the things we do through SIUK Cambodia is to reach out directly to the international schools here, to work directly with their teachers and counsellors, to give them the full training to understand exactly what's available in the UK, and also to bring in university representatives directly from the UK to then speak with students in the international school, help with their counsellors to learn more information and understand the processes involved. So this is one thing we are very, very excited to be doing because it allows us to speak to a large number of students and allows us to help the international schools in a sector they are kind of struggling with right now. Okay. Another one we got, which is also very exciting, is we are looking to launch our first foundation program inside of Cambodia.
Wow.
We found previously there have been a few foundation courses available in Cambodia,
sure, yeah.
But it directly links you to one university in one country. What we're looking to do is to bring in a foundation course inside of Cambodia that's UK certified, but afterwards you can apply to any UK university or any university worldwide after completing this UK certified foundation program. So this is our next exciting project that we are currently seeing how we can bring into Cambodia and how we can fully utilize this opportunity and bring it to Cambodian students.
I see, and well noted, and that's great information and also a good news to everyone, especially with the parents who is looking for any plan or they thinking of which country they would like to send their children to pursue further degree. And this is another good news that we are going to launch a great foundation in Cambodia to support your planning as well. All right, sounds like you're working a lot with this sector and support the parents and the children who are dreaming to have a degree in the UK. So can you share us any recent achievements or milestones in your career?
Yeah, okay, so in terms of the milestones right now, the biggest one for us was when we initially came into the market in Cambodia. We come in with a big company name, SIUK. It's very world-renowned and it's very respected by UK institutions. But in terms of on the ground here in Cambodia, nobody knows the name. It's like coming in completely blind and brand new. So even though we've got huge resources behind us and this big company brand, when we came into the market, whenever we said SIUK, people would say, who? What? No, we don't know your agency, so we'd much prefer to go to someone we know more about or have been referred to. That was around 6 to 7 months ago now. Now, our latest accomplishment is the fact that we no longer have to reach out to parents and students to promote our company. They automatically coming to us through word of mouth, through our partner schools as well, where they've just been told if you're looking for a UK education, SIUK is the company in Cambodia that can help you with that. And that's for us has been a real beautiful transition where we see parents and students now going online, checking the information about our company, seeing how well respected we are by UK institutions, that now they just automatically come to us for their applications.
Yeah, that sounds exciting to me because for those who are thinking of pursue further degree in the UK, Of course, just like you mentioned, somehow they don't know any source or whether it is certified or is it valid information for them to make a decision. For now, we have you here to be our consultant and also a supporter to your planning as well. Okay, so based on the previous question, we found that you're working a lot with the parents. So from your experience, what are the most common anxieties parents express when they are considering sending their child to study overseas? Somehow it's the first time to send their kids to be far away from them, right? So what are the common anxiety that you have?
Okay, so when it comes to the anxiety side, there are a few that parents have. First of all, the UK is further away, so they want to know that there's kind of a support system in place, and they're not really familiar with how much support UK universities give or the regulations in the UK. But the nice thing is, when you look at the UK, when you look at the education in the UK, it is considered to be the highest level of academics you can get around the world. And so we help to promote to parents and to students that not only is the UK accessible, but when it comes to the support available, universities help with everything. They help with your accommodation, they help with any of the mental or physical support you need. You've got your private tutors that are available to deal with any problems or queries you have. You've got your support system in place with the accommodation as well. So in the UK, for every international student, accommodation is guaranteed. Parents are also concerned about, can my kid find a job after they graduate? But in terms for all UK universities, they have a careers team. So that careers team is available every single day. You can go into the office and they will help you to find work, whether that's part-time work, internships, full-time, and even after you graduate, most UK universities will give a period of 2 years. So after graduation, within that 2-year period, you can go back to them if you need any further support to find a job. So it's a really nice support system. So that's definitely something we feel that parents aren't too familiar with and one of their biggest concerns.
So I'm sure that most parents, they are watching our podcast now. One question that they would come up now is, what are the first most crucial steps a parent should take to begin planning their child's overseas education journey to the UK?
Okay, so this is a difficult one. There are a few important factors. Number one, and we get this a lot from parents, is of course budget. So this perception that the UK is extremely expensive. Yes, there are some universities that are prestigious and do have high fees, but we've got other universities where the costs are lower. So one of the things we like to do with all parents is initially just ask, okay, going abroad in terms of budget-wise, what is your budget? And then what we can do is then give you access to the universities that will be inside of that budget after the scholarship side. And for any parents kind of listening today or watching today, we have universities as cheap as £11,000 per year, which is around 13,000 USD per year after scholarship with an honours degree at bachelor level. So we do have those cheaper universities where actually the cost is cheaper than some of the international schools here to go to the UK. So this is one of the things that we definitely work on. The other one is to make sure that parents and students are choosing the right universities. So obviously a lot of students or parents come to us and say they want a particular university because they've heard of it before or a friend is going there. But it's not necessarily that that university is going to be the right fit for the student. We need to know more about the location they're looking for. Do you want to be in the centre of London that's got all of the hustle and bustle and really, really busy? Or do you want to be in a small, quiet university town? Again, in terms of the majors as well, we want to make sure that parents and students are choosing a university that is strong for the major they are interested in. There are high-ranking universities, but in terms of specific majors, they might not be as strong as other universities. So we want to make sure the student knows exactly what major they're going into, what they're looking to do for the future, and then we align them with the correct university choices.
I see, good. So now we are diving deeper into our topic and talking about the choice choices of the university for the parents to decide for their kids for the degree in UK. Could you explain the concept of certificate equality in the context of UK university admissions and how it impacts international students?
All right, this is actually a very good question. So we get this a lot. When it comes to the international schools here, they're all teaching different curriculum. Some are just doing, they've got the IB program here, advanced placements, you've got the Cambridge assessment with the IGCSEs and the A-levels. But when it comes to the UK, all of these different assessments will be looked at equally. So even though the UK uses the system of Cambridge assessment and uses IGCSEs and A-levels, it doesn't mean that a student in Cambodia needs to study A-levels in order to access a UK university. They can go through the IB program, they can go through the advanced placement program. Also, you've got one of the international schools here that teaches the Canadian system, the Alberta system. This can also be used to access a UK university. And what's nice is parents can go on the website, they can look at the international requirements, and then basically any kind of curriculum they have, they can compare it against the A-level side, or they can connect it to the GPA or an IB score, and then they can find the equivalent, which means for all students in Cambodia studying any form of international high school, they will have the same level of access to a UK university.
So now we are talking about some kind of score comparison between our local and international one. So the next question that I'd like to question to you, then what are the key differences parents should be aware of when comparing international qualifications to the UK's education system?
Okay, so when it comes to this, there is one very, very important thing, and we get this so many times with student applications. It doesn't matter what international curriculum you are taking, you must make sure you put in for your external examinations at the end of each academic year. So right now in Cambodia, a lot of the international schools don't make it compulsory to do the external examinations, and there is a little additional fee that parents must pay if they want to do an external examination in order to get the academic certificate and transcript from abroad. If they choose not to do this, actually their high school certificate won't be valid to directly access a UK university. They're going to have to go through a foundation route. So whether they're going through IB, AP, A-levels, it doesn't matter if the grades are going to be a little lower. It's just important that they submit to do an external examination to make sure they get the transcripts and they get the qualification award.
I see. Yes. Thank you so much. And back to the parent and our audience here. If you have any comment, please leave your comment down there. Our team will respond to your inquiry later. All right. Thank you, Mr. Curtis. Now we are more excited and the topic has become more interesting. We are now keen to learn more how we can plan to send our children to the UK for their future education. The next one, we would like to know what are the most common pitfalls parents encounter when trying to understand how their child's international scores are translated into the UK grading system.
So again, as I previously mentioned, when it comes to the pitfalls, it's more about going in for those external examinations. It's not good enough that you are just doing the internal test that the school provide to you. You must make sure that you are going in for the external examinations that are provided by the AP system or provided by Cambridge Assessment, and that you are doing those official examinations. If you are not doing them, the issue you're going to have is that you're going to have to repeat the last year of your high school again in the UK through a foundation program. So we do have that current pitfall right now where a lot of students are in international schools. They've decided that because their grades aren't at like the top level of A star or the best GPA, that they won't put in for the examinations. But by not putting it in for them, the pitfall is there's one additional year of study in the UK, not only does that add 1 year of study, but it also adds 1 year of financial cost to the parents. So that's also why we're looking to bring that foundation program into Cambodia, so that students that do fall into that trap, at least we have access to a foundation inside of Cambodia. Then when they do get into the UK, there's still that direct access afterwards.
Yes, that's very useful. I found it from your responding, your foundation here in Cambodia, so we can save the time and also access ourselves before sending them to the UK.
Yeah.
Good. And beyond the standardized test scores, what other factors do UK universities consider when evaluating international applicants?
Okay, so when it comes to the other criteria, one of the things that is extremely important, you've got your personal statement. Your personal statement, this is the opportunity for you to reach out to the university to explain more about yourself, more about why you want to go to the university, what are your ambitions later, and also why is that course specifically the course that you need at university level. The reason why a personal statement is so important is the fact that a lot of students will all get A's. So if they've all got A's or they're all the same level academically, one thing that will set them apart is their personal statement. And as it says in the title, it needs to be personal. It's not an essay, it's more about your personal life. How did you get involved in being interested in marketing or in medicine, for instance? So that's one thing universities look highly upon. The second one will be the English certificate. So the most common one for the UK will be the IELTS.
Yeah.
So no matter how high the grades are, without an IELTS certificate, an award of a minimum of around 6.5, which is normally quite easy for Cambodian students, you won't be able to gain access. So you need your IELTS certificate, you need your personal statement, your academic reports, but the final thing you're also going to need is a reference letter from your teacher. So you must make sure you get one of your teachers or your counsellor to give you that referral letter. The final thing that all students will need is that you need to be able to ask your school for your predicted grades. So one misconception here is that in Cambodia, you have to wait until you get your final result and then you apply to university. But actually, no, you can apply 1 year in advance, ask your school and ask your teachers to predict what score they think you're going to get 1 year later, and you use those predictions to apply to university. So there's no need to wait until the examinations come out. You just get your teachers to predict your grades, and they can go on your last few years of academics to then predict those. So you have a combination of everything: the personal statement, your predicted grades, your IELTS certificate, and of course your current level of academics.
Oh, that's we have a specific criteria for the checklist that you just mentioned before. So for the parents who is planning, please contact Curtis for more consultant and information about pursuing degree in the UK. All right. So I take note about personal statement that is the kind of a letter that express about your personal view about what is your interest to any major, and also linking to your first introduction that we are talking about the differences of the university. Some may be in the middle of the London and some may be around the London as well, but we have a specific area and specific major for those universities. So what factors should parents prioritize when selecting a UK university for their child beyond just academic ranking?
Yeah, so beyond the academic ranking side, there are so many factors to take into consideration. Number one, where is your son and daughter going to be most happy in? Is it going to be a busy city environment? Are they a quiet person that likes the countryside? Or do they want to live outside of London but still have easy access? Do they prefer to live somewhere where the living costs are cheaper as well? So in the UK, down south is typically more expensive, up north is cheaper. But then in terms of all of the universities, they're all regulated to very high standards. So no matter the ranking of the university, they all adhere to the same standards to make sure you get a top quality education. So the thing we also like to promote is making sure you're going to a university that's strong in the major you are interested in.
Yes.
Also look at the employability side. So look at the resources the university put in place after you graduate. One example we give you is the University of Sunderland. It's a university that's probably not very well known here in Cambodia. But again, they have good ranking. They're in the north of the UK. It's extremely cheap to live. And also, as I mentioned previously, their tuition fee is £11,000. It's cheaper than the majority of international schools here, which makes it extremely accessible. Sunderland have also just announced that for all students, they have an unlimited time to speak with their careers counsellor after graduation, which means any Cambodian student that graduates at Sunderland on this cheaper tuition fee, maybe they want to come back into Cambodia for a few years, they can then go back into the UK, go back to their university, let's say 5 years later, and a university careers team will still help them to find a job for the lifetime of this. So it's a really nice thing. So these are all different factors that should be taken into consideration when choosing a university. Of course, prestige still plays a part if you have friends in that university. But again, if that university isn't providing the support or isn't so strong in the major you're looking for, potentially it's better to go outside, go to a different university, and then again at the weekends you can meet with your friends inside of a different city or inside of London. So those are definitely the things that we want parents to prioritise first, because again, when they go to the UK, it's not just for a short period of time, it's going to be for a minimum of 3 years. So they've got to make sure the environment for the kid is the right environment.
Thank you. That one thing that I noticed is not just about selecting the university, but also looking at the environment, the conveniences of living, and especially with the employment opportunity from the university as well. Good. So not going far away from the choices of university, what support services do UK universities typically provide for international students, and how can parents ensure their child utilizes them effectively? Because of course, being a parent, it's a common concern when they sending their child far away from them. They want to see what kind of facility or service that UK universities provide. Yeah.
So UK universities have a wide array of facilities that are accessible to students. So not just for the career side, but also counselling, emotional counselling. So if you're struggling mentally in the UK to adapt, they have teams in place to help you, and all of these services are free of charge. You also still got your personal tutors and your professors that you can reach out to via email, or they have open sessions where you can go and speak to them directly if you are struggling in any of your subjects or have any kind of struggles or queries. And then again, the universities put so many support systems in place. So you also have your university peers. They will have peers in a year higher than you or 2 years higher than you that will be there to kind of support and help first year students to adapt to the environment. And they will always use other international students from the same region to be able to help those students to adapt. Of course, for the majority of universities, they expect a student to reach out to ask for the support, and it's promoted that the student initially makes the first contact. But all of the universities have a good care system in place that if for a longer period of time the student hasn't reached out or hasn't spoken to professors, then that's when the professors or the counselling team will reach out to the student to make sure that they are feeling confident and happy in their study. The final side, again, with the accommodation, all of the accommodation, especially for first year, will be on campus, which means you have a whole team inside of the university making sure that your living arrangements are okay, you're happy with your neighbours and those that you are living around, and making sure that you're fully getting access to not only the university, but the support inside of it academically, but also the support outside if you want to join clubs and societies and things like that. So the UK has so much to offer, and every university puts so much thought into making sure that all students are properly cared for at each level of the education.
So from what you have described about the support services from the UK universities, I feel like if the parents send their child to study in UK, their child will not feel alone when they arrive there, because you said we have a support from the senior and we have somehow of the collection of students from region. So the people who come from overseas and study there, they feel like, oh, I'm not alone there.
Yeah.
And they feel more comfortable and convenient to live there as well. Okay, good. So at the moment, you're just talking about the support services from the UK university. Now, talking back, what support services that the UK government offer to Cambodian students, specifically regarding study and work opportunities?
Nice question. So actually for this question, the UK government is very, very supportive for students coming from Cambodia. And a lot of countries now are kind of limiting what's available in terms of jobs or employability after you graduate or the residency side. The UK has gone in a completely different direction. So in terms of the visa, the UK government now have lifted many restrictions on the Cambodian application. There is no longer the requirement of the UK government to submit any financial documents in order to get your study visa. So this makes it easy for the visa application. There's no interview process. It's just you submit your documents, scan your finger, take your photo, and the application is processed. So it's a very smooth, easy process, no stress about having to answer any questions. And again, for parents, as long as you've got the offer letter from the school, your passport is valid, you don't need any additional documentation. So that side, the government has made extremely easy for the visa, and it's very, very quick. Normally within 5 to 10 working days, you can get your visa ready to get into the UK. In terms of the work opportunities, this is also a really nice one for the UK government. So now in the UK, after a student graduates, either at bachelor level, so undergraduate, or at postgraduate, they are automatically granted a 2-year visa extension, which allows them the right to remain in the UK, to find a job, or to just do nothing. So you have a lovely 2-year window where you're allowed to remain in the UK, and if you want to find work, you can. Obviously, all of the universities will give you a minimum of 2 years after graduation to help you find a job. The majority of them will also help in the final year if you're looking for a job anyway, to submit those applications, prepare you for the interviews as well. And then during that 2-year period, if you're able to find a job, then they will sponsor you and give you another visa for 5 years. During that 5-year period, if you're able to retain work, and again, it doesn't need to be in the same job, you could change jobs during that 5-year period, you then have the option to then start to apply for your residency permit in the UK. The nicest thing is there is no regulation about which job or major you need to do for employment. So even if a student goes into engineering, let's say, but for the first 2 years, they struggled to find the right job in engineering, they could actually go into something else. As long as the employer is able to sponsor the visa, then they don't need to actually go into that specific major to go on to get their 5-year graduate visa. So once they have that job, remain in it, get your 5-year period, stay in employment for 5 years, and then afterwards onto residency. There is no financial commitment. There is no money you need to invest in the UK. You just invest into your education. Salaries in the UK are extremely good. You've got your national minimum wage as well. So most students, when they come out of university, they're looking at a salary of at least around 30,000 USD or up, which is more than enough for them to be able to kind of live and afford life in the UK, and obviously potentially send money back to family here in Cambodia. So yeah, in terms of the government side, everything is there for the support of making the visa easy, but also making sure that it's easy to gain employment and easy to gain access to an option to remain in the UK for up to 7 years, before applying for your residency permit.
Oh, that's amazing and a great information that I've just heard. So far, I found that maybe sending the children to study in UK is such a complicated process, workflow and time consuming. But after talking to Curtis today, we found that that's very easy.
Yeah.
And the process is very smooth. All right. So once again, thank you, Curtis. Today's conversation is very fruitful and very informative, very supporting to decision and the planning of the parents. Okay, so coming through the whole talk today, now we are coming to the last question that I just like to know from you and seek your advice or suggestion, especially to those parents here. And what are some practical tips for parents to help their children adapt to live to life in the UK, including cultural differences and potential challenges and etc. Yeah.
So when it comes to the UK is a place that is extremely open to all nationalities and is very welcoming to everyone. So you don't really need to adapt too much. Obviously, there are a few cultural differences, but what I would suggest to any parent or students going to the UK is just immerse yourself in every opportunity available at the UK. Normally for the first few weeks of your university, they will have different clubs opening up, different societies that you've maybe never heard of. Go and join it to see if it's of interest to you. Go and join all of the different events that are going on because you'll be able to make new friends. You'll be able to meet other international students or other people that kind of have similar interests to you. So even if a student is interested in economics, but they're also interested in sport, then go and join the different sporting societies and clubs that are available, because then not only do you have friends and people you can mingle with inside of your major, but then you've got your own personal friends inside of the groups and societies. And if any students are feeling a little nervous about doing it, just go and speak with the support people in place at the university, the counselling teams, and they will suggest where you should go or what clubs you should join, and just literally try everything. And then after those initial few weeks, then you get your groups of friends, you've been able to mingle in different societies, and you'll find that you can adapt easily to the UK culture.
I see. All right. Very detailed, very detailed one. Thank you so much, Curtis, for your presenting today, as well as it is our order. And we are more than delighted to have you here, especially while you describe and narrate everything in detail for the information for those parents who are thinking of sending their kids to the UK. So I think we are coming to the end of the session, but before we closed our session here, do you have any message or remarks to the parent and also the viewer here who is keep watching our podcast until the end here?
Yeah, so until the end, I should really say at the beginning, the one thing we like to say is that with SIUK, there are no fees to pay. So in terms of applications to universities, it's all done free of charge. Now, if we are using something called the UCAS system, the UCAS will charge a small fee, or the university might have a small application fee. But in terms of anyone seeking the services of SIUK, everything we do from start to finish is completely free of charge, because we work here on behalf of UK universities rather than on behalf of ourselves. So again, any parents that feel, what are they going to charge? What's the secret behind this? There is no secret. It's completely free of charge for everything we do application-wise.
All right. So thank you so much, Curtis,
Thank
today. We appreciate your time and your sharing. And I found that this topic is very interesting, and I hope it is the first time that Cambodian parents be aware of the concept of sending their kids to pursue further degree in the UK. And as I mentioned that before, maybe you think that it's not a very easy process to send your children to the UK. But after this podcast, we found that nothing difficult.
Yeah, nothing's impossible
Just
anymore.
contact Curtis for more information. All right, so thank you, and our podcast today has come to the end, and thank you so much for keep viewing our podcast, and we hope to see you again in the next episode. បើជាថ្មីម្ដងទៀតខ្ញុំបាទក៏សូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណចំពោះការចូលរួមទស្សនាតាំងពីដើមរហូតដល់ចប់ជាពិសេសគឺចំពោះអាណាព្យាបាលនិងមេដាបេដាដែលមានបំណងចង់បញ្ជូនបុត្រធីតារបស់លោកអ្នកដើម្បីទៅបន្តការសិក្សានៅចក្រភពអង់គ្លេស podcast មួយនេះប្រកាសជាមានប្រយោជន៍សម្រាប់លោកលោកស្រីនាងកញ្ញាជាអាណាព្យាបាលឬជាមេដាបេដាដើម្បីជាកត្តារួមផ្សំនៅក្នុងការសម្រេចចិត្តក៏ដូចជាព័ត៌មានល្អដើម្បីទុកជាចំណេះដឹងក៏ដូចជាការត្រៀមខ្លួនទុកជាមុនហើយលោកអ្នកក៏អាចចែកចាយបន្ត share បន្តនៅ podcast នេះជូនទៅដល់បាទក្រុមគ្រួសារសាច់ញាតិមិត្តភ័ក្តិរបស់លោកអ្នកដើម្បីឲ្យអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាកាន់តែមានបាទព័ត៌មានលម្អិតតាក់ទងទៅកាន់ការបញ្ជូនបុត្រធីតាទៅសិក្សាបន្តនៅចក្រភពអង់គ្លេសហើយបើសិនជាមានព័ត៌មានបន្ថែមឬចម្ងល់ផ្សេងៗលោកអ្នកក៏អាចបាទសរសេរជា comment នៅខាងក្រោមវីដេអូរបស់យើងខ្ញុំឬក៏អាចតាក់ទងផ្ទាល់មកលោក Curtis តាមរយៈការតាក់ទងផ្ទាល់ទៅ agency របស់លោកផ្ទាល់តែម្ដងបាទអរគុណពីកម្មវិធី Sparkle Podcast របស់យើងខ្ញុំក៏បានឈានចូលទៅទីបញ្ចប់យើងនឹងជួបគ្នានៅបាទវគ្គបន្តនិងប្រធានបទគួរឲ្យចាប់អារម្មណ៍ដទៃទៀតក៏សូមអរគុណពីកម្មវិធី Sparkle Podcast និងក្រុមការងារសូមអរគុណនិងសូមជម្រាបលា